Time now for the voice of the land on the Big Play Network with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Always Positive Jay.
Welcome in to the Voice of the Land, brought to you on the Big Play Network. I am your host, Always Positive Jay. My main man, Kevin Arnold, is on remote for the show today. As always, our guy Audio is in the Matrix doing his thing. And today we got a little special third host with us, Nick Carnes. Welcome on in, Nick. How you doing?
Hey, I'm great. I'm happy to be here. You know what? This is still Victory Wednesday to me. So I'm celebrating. I'm not fully on my way to Pittsburgh yet, although I know we're gonna get there
For
too.
the show, I think we'll have a victory couple segments, and then we're moving on to Pittsburgh for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, we gotta celebrate. I mean, we won an
won.
opener, a home opener. We won. That's what I'm talking about. Cleveland.
Absolutely.
How you doing, Kevin?
I'm good. Well, I guess as good as I can be because, yes, I'm here for a reason. I'm remote for a reason. But luckily getting over what I had, there's a lot that's been going on around here these last couple of weeks. So just glad to be back doing this, and the escape is back. That's all I can say right now.
Yes, the escape is back. Football is back.
Oh, yes.
We are brought to you by Vector Technical. They will get the right person, the right job the first time. So if you're looking for a job, you know where to find them, and we'll have plenty of commercials to explain more about them later on in the show. But let's get into it. What do you guys think about that game? Cincinnati, they came out, and I don't know about you, the second that I saw Jamar Chase just start talking smack about the elf, he found out, and they took a big L. I mean, I couldn't ask too much more for an opener myself. I would like to see Deshaun Watson throw for 400-something yards like Tua, but we got the W. We are the more physical team, and we just made them shut their mouths, hopefully, for once. I mean, although Jamar Chase opened it up again right after.
Yeah, you know what? Anytime you win the opener, that's a big deal to me. And I think we saw a lot. There's been a ton of discourse on Twitter, X, whatever you call it now, just about how like Browns fans are celebrating, and I honestly think that's justified. I think the Bengals have won the division the last 2 years. They've been in the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship the last 2 years. They're a good team, and so I think it's a acknowledgement of that. Like that. I don't care if it's week one. I don't care if it's just one of 17. Anytime you can get that win, and we know that better than anybody because our home opener record is abysmal, right? So you can turn that on its head. You come out, you play great defense. You make Jamar Chase look like an idiot. That's a big win to me. I'm a happy camper.
Kev?
I mean, you have to be a happy camper coming out of that. I mean, Jay, you know that I've been the person that has been saying they have to prove it to me as much as people don't want to necessarily hear that all the time. We can have a great roster all we want, but if we don't go out there and actually put the product out there, now, some may argue that it's against Cincinnati. We always have Cincinnati's number. Let's see it against someone else. I'm not going to be – that's not the type of person, prove it to me person I'm going to be. Like, they're going to have to prove it to themselves all year long, but they showed something in that game. And I think exactly what a lot of us have talked about. Defensively, they came out right from the start. And as much as the system is new, the players know each other. Add some new pieces around him. You still haven't seen Juan Thornhill in that safety position as he works his way back from injury. And so there's going to be more depth on the back end as well. You got guys like Zadarius and Miles getting home, but then other players, Obo and, the defensive tackles doing what they needed to do. There were times that Joe Mixon got loose, but guess what, guys? It's the NFL. Teams are going to score points. So to hold a team to 3 points, you can talk about Joe Burrow's injury, and it's going to be a whole different game when we get to Cincinnati later on in the season towards the end of it. And he's probably going to be a better quarterback at that point. But look, you did what you're supposed to do. A quarterback that hadn't worked in the preseason, hadn't gotten any work with this team as much as they've known each other for a long time. You took advantage of that. Defense set the tone, and the offense did what they needed to do. Was it pretty? Was it what you want from a $230 million quarterback fully? No, but I think it's okay that you can come out, win a game, have those criticisms, constructive criticism type pieces, it feels a lot better when the coaches are going through that film and you win a game. So now it's let's stack these wins on top of each other. We're not, we'll talk about Pittsburgh here in a little while, but yeah, you feel good coming out of that game, but you don't feel great. And I think that is the greatest part. You feel good, but not great.
It's a coach's
only
dream
game
winning
one.
like that.
Oh yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, great win, but we're gonna watch film and then I'm just gonna rip you apart and tell you how much better you can do. And that's what you need, man. That's exactly what you need. I love that. Is Darius Smith right off the rip, first play set the tone on that defense. Like he didn't get the sack, but he definitely, when you hit quarterbacks, it starts making them think. They got to think a little faster. They're looking over their shoulder a little bit. It's on their mind.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see like they had Joe Burrow rattled all day long.
Yep. And you know what? So I would like to say, like, I don't feel great about the where the offense was. I do feel great about Nick Chubb. That was a nice debut from him. But I certainly feel great about coming out of that game about the defense. I think we have been waiting and saying for a long time now, like, this defense is so talented, they should be good. And even in the final game of the year against Pittsburgh last year, you still saw guys throwing their hands up, not knowing where they needed to be, and just really not being able to maximize their talent and their potential.
Well,
And
the secondary looked like day and night from week one or last year to this week.
You saw them communicating, I think my biggest takeaway is if they can rattle. I mean, Joe Burrow's the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Well, he's the highest paid player in the NFL. And Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd, that they're probably the best wide receiver trio. I feel like if you can shut down Cincinnati's offense, you can shut down that. It's not going to go like that every week. I understand that. But the point is to have such a dominant performance against a guy who, Joe Burrow's been hit more than almost any quarterback in the league since he entered it. And he gets so rarely rattled. And I think there was a really good example. There was a play where Joe was just tossing a screen pass to Mixon and he hand pushes the ball, right? And like and that play ended up as an incompletion, but it's just, you could see that he was rattled. And if you can rattle that guy, if you can get under that guy's skin,
you rattled Joe Cool.
Yeah. And just the other piece is like, there were a lot of people that tried to poo-poo trading for Zadarius Smith and like, well, where did his production go in the second half of the year? Well, he had an injury, but I think it was an endorsement of the fact that like that guy is still a disruptor. He's still I think he was the highest graded. No, Grant Talbot was, but he was in the top 3 of the defenders of the Browns from Sunday. And I just think it's a really good sign about what's to come from this defense and their ability to get pressure, especially outside of Miles, because last year we saw how that went without Garrett, and that was not pretty.
The one thing we keep, we're like, oh, the defense, and we're like, the offense has got improvement. The one thing about the offense that I did like, one, they scored 24 points.
Yep.
2, they adjusted. Like, how many times were like, why weren't they running Nick Chubb there? They're like, all right, clearly these conditions suck to throw the ball.
Yep.
Let's hand it off to our workhorse, Nick Chubb. And they even let Jerome Ford come in there. He had some good runs. So at the end of the game, Nick Chubb looked fresh, and the Bengals defense just looked completely gassed, and they controlled the clock a lot of the time and kept Joe Burrow off the field.
Well, and let me add to that with the Watson run to the end zone, 4 guys stacked on the far side of the field, only 1 guy on the near side. He read that well to go get the touchdown. I wonder what other options are off of that formation, because that they're going to show it again, and teams are going to think Watson's running it. He may fake, but what type of routes are coming out of that? So I think you got a chance to just see a glimpse of what Kevin Stefanski is building around Deshaun Watson. And I think from a football standpoint, that was we didn't see that in those 6 games. As bad as it was, and you wanted to see more out of it last year, he was running the Jacoby Brissett structured offense. So it's going to take some time. I mean, Marquise Goodwin just gets in there after a week of practice. I mean, this is a week of practice. It's not training camp where they're going full go and stuff like that. So the timing of those routes, those deep balls are there. People have been complaining about this offense doesn't throw deep enough. Well, Deshaun, I know, is going to tell you, I should have hit those. I should have hit Marquise Goodwin running down the seam because he's open. And I'm leaving him just hanging up in the air. Like, he'll criticize himself. We have to understand, unfortunately, Goodwin wasn't there, and it's a blessing in itself that he's able to be out there with the blood clots. On the defensive side with Zadarius Smith, Nick, I don't know. I don't know why people were going against the move to do that or anything like that. Like, it never made any sense to me because Zadarius Smith is what we wanted Jadeveon Clowney to be. But Clowney was too much about Clowney and not about team. Smith is about, hey, I am here to help Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is a Hall of Famer. Yes, there's going to be things called for him to be a Hall of Famer. But I can also put my name attached it to Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns and the success we have this year by going out and showing that what I've done in the past is not just a fluke. I can do it in multiple different places. I can do it from multiple different positions. And it's not about, like, I don't care that Myles Garrett's going to get the headline because he should. He's a once-in-a-lifetime talent. He doesn't – Smith is not thinking about Smith. Smith is thinking about the Browns. Myles Garrett is thinking about the Browns. Jadeveon Clowney was always thinking about Jadeveon Clowney. And that's part of his downfall, along with his injuries, of why the number one pick, he hasn't lived up to that, but he has shown talent in his time. And why it didn't work here was because, again, he was just about Clowney, and we had too many guys that were just about themselves and not about team. And for this team to have success, each individual of the 53, the practice squad, and the coaches, the equipment staff, it's all got to be about team and not each individual.
I got to give a shout out to my fellow number 22, Grant Delpit.
Ooh.
What a game by him. He was everywhere, man. He is finally looking like the safety that we thought we were going to get out of LSU when we drafted him. And unfortunately, tore his Achilles.
Yep.
Like, that sucks. Trust me. I know. We just watched Aaron Rodgers tear his.
Mm-hmm.
And to come back and he's finally starting to get real used to it, like trusting it. Because it's a physical battle, Nick. Like, the rehab is just grueling. But you got to learn to trust your body again. It's more mental than physical. And I was so happy to see him out there just flying around, picking up where he left off last year. I don't know how many tackles he had, but it was a bunch. And I know he had a really high grade average.
He led the team in tackles.
Oh, he definitely led the team in tackles.
And you know what? I can remember how excited we were when the Browns drafted him. And there was a lot of talk that was like, oh, well, Grant could have been a first round pick. And the Browns really got this value. And then, it's like he immediately tears his Achilles. And so you don't get to see it then. And you know how hard that, firsthand how hard that injury is to come back from. So the fact that now it's really looking like that's probably the biggest reason I'm excited is just, you always knew the talent was there on defense, and to see them really be able to shine and do so in dramatic fashion was awesome. I just like, I don't remember what the term is for it, but Jim Schwartz has a name for guys that don't celebrate each other when they make good plays. And like, I saw that was going around. And so like, you can see it. It's like whenever something good happens, like they're celebrating each other. And there's all this talk about like leadership and culture and all this type of stuff that people have tried to knock Stefanski for. Well, I can tell you that it certainly looks like Jim Schwartz is bringing that type of mentality. And so maybe it doesn't need to necessarily come from the head coach. Maybe all you need is to have that force in your locker room.
He needed a yin to his yang because he's a player's coach.
Yeah.
And Jim Schwartz is not that he's not a player's coach, but he's that fiery guy that'll just demand it out of you. Like, and I think Kevin Stefanski is more a cerebral guy. And like, all right, what do you want to do? Like, how can I work with you? Or Jim Schwartz is like, we're doing it this way, and this is how you do it the right way. And you're going to do it 110% nonstop, and we're eating nails for lunch later.
If there's one thing I can't stand is, like, I enjoy watching other teams' Twitter videos from their locker room more than I enjoy watching the Browns ones, because like Kevin Stefanski just isn't that guy. I don't know. Like, it feels cringe to me, but I don't care if that.
It's all like Dan Campbell right now when it comes to those.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell, he's a goofball, but man, he's hilarious to watch, man.
He is. And sure, would you like all of it? All the characteristic and the personality and everything to go along with it? Sure. But you know what the number one thing is that we want to see? Wins. So if we have a guy that can't get hyped up and doesn't have necessarily a personality, but all the players still are playing for him. Like, he's doing something right if the team is doing what they're supposed to be doing and
I
winning.
mean, you've
The
seen him
coaching
up and
staff
down
is
the
doing it right.
sidelines.
Yeah.
He's going up and down the sidelines, and
Yeah.
Ken's like, "Rah, rah, rah."
Yeah.
They're going
I
nuts.
actually saw more from him this past weekend than ever
Huh?
before. Like, he was getting after a referee in that game, and I
Oh,
had not
Stefanski?
seen that. Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes, there was a
Nice.
close up of him getting after a referee. So I saw a lot more fire in him. So I feel like everybody in that locker room and in Berea just feels something different this year, and we just
What? I got
Guess
to
what?
give it
It's
to
only-
somebody else. I got to give a game ball to the fans, man.
Ooh, man.
They brought it that game. Nick, did you go?
I did go.
Yeah, they were loud. They
I-
were loud there, like nonstop.
like
Kevin.
Garrett Sack had to be the loudest that stadium's been in a long time.
Even though it was just nonstop rain
Yeah.
the entire time,
Oh,
which
my
was
God.
miserable because by halftime I was completely drenched.
Yep.
I'm like, well, I ain't getting no wetter.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get colder.
Yep.
But yeah, everyone was just loud nonstop. And I'm just gonna give that one to me
There you go.
on my motivational speech
I
Friday
get it.
night at Forward that I never got to see yet. But I know it was awesome.
I
and
was
I
not
let them
giving
know.
that either.
You know what?
I know.
It wasn't pleasant being soaked all game long. I'll
No.
tell you. And
It was-
it's funny because you talk to anybody from the surrounding suburbs. It was sunny there. We just had a giant, I don't even know, like effect, just rain that, and you were thinking it was like, oh, maybe this is gonna move out. No, it just misted all game.
It was like the hardest drizzle I've ever experienced. I don't know how to like describe the rain. It was just
Yeah.
annoying as all hell. And then they ran out of ponchos when I went to go buy one, of course.
Oh well, yep, they
Eh.
did run out of ponchos. That was.
It is what it is.
I just want to just a couple things. But as regarding Stefanski, I really liked from him two pieces of this. Number one, Deshaun obviously struggles as a passer, so I get that. But we saw the passes that fell at guys' feet were open, right? And so like people have questioned his play calling and just his offense and his ability to do this. I saw open receivers yesterday, and I do think I know the Bengals have some young guys in their secondary because they lost their safeties. I get that, but I do think the Bengals have a pretty good defense, and the fact that you're seeing guys are open, I loved. I know it wasn't complete to Marquise Goodwin, that trick play where they shifted Chubb over and direct snap to him, give it to Watt. Stefanski always has a trick in his bag, and I love that he uses it. And the final thing there is you could see that they had a game plan where they wanted to air the ball out. They were going to throw it. And I get that. That makes a lot of sense because, like I said, you have lots of young guys in the secondary. But when the weather was changed the field and the conditions, he adapted and he ran the hell out of the ball. Excuse me. And I love that from him. I love
that one's okay.
Okay, good.
He was warned we don't really
Yeah.
swear
Yeah,
too much
yeah.
on this show.
All I know is he showed adaptability. He showed his offense looked good to me. You scored 21 points. You had 2 turnovers to none, so you could have scored a lot more points. I think this is going to be the year that Stefanski shows that he is the coach for this job and that he has a good offense and he has gotten the most out of his previous 2 quarterbacks. I think that's my flag plant is that Stefanski's going to be. It's going to be a ringing endorsement of him as a coach this year.
For the record, guys, I know I'm always positive, Jay, but Nick might be the most positive like Browns fan ever.
Yeah, you're always practical now, Jay.
Yeah, I'm kind of more practical these days. I get shellacked if I give like an honest opinion about a sport. It's like I thought you were always positive.
Mm.
Whatever.
I may have changed him a little bit. That might be on me, guys.
Kevin's affecting me now. Great.
All right, we'll yin and yang between Kevin and I for you.
But
Jay.
with that said, we're gonna hit our first break, and on the other side of this break, we're gonna talk. We're victory time's over, guys.
Okay.
We're on to Pittsburgh. So on the other side of break, we're gonna talk about our next matchup. Here.
I hate Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh sucks. Yes, I know. Yes, we know. All right.
Whether you're looking to hire new talent or start a new career, Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that has helped thousands of job seekers advance in their career with reputable partners throughout Northeastern Ohio. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. With an above-average hire-in rate of 1 in 4 candidates, Vector works hard to connect the right person with the right opportunity the first time. Vector Technical hires for skilled manufacturing and light industrial work and is sure to have a career that you've been looking for. To learn more, visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com.
Welcome back in, guys. This is the Voice of the Land, brought to you by the Big Play Network and Vector Technical. So we got another huge division game back to back Monday night, and we're going to Pittsburgh, where we haven't had the best of luck. Are you guys nervous at all?
I'll tell you what, I was probably more nervous for the game against the Bengals than I am against Pittsburgh, especially that I have seen a ton of conversation. Kenny Pickett was rough in week 1 against the 49ers.
Kenny Pickett's their quarterback?
Well,
I thought it was Joe Montana after all those preseason games.
You know,
the way they talked about him.
We've seen a lot of quarterbacks light it up in preseason, and it doesn't always translate to the regular season.
No.
So
wait, you're telling me that preseason records and stats and all that really don't matter? So when me and Kevin didn't give
16.
so me and Kevin weren't talking about all this and going crazy in depth with everybody else during the preseason games, we're like, oh wait, it didn't matter. Look at that.
You know what? With the way the Browns defense played, I just feel like they can shut Pittsburgh down too. Christian McCaffrey thrashed them on the ground, and I see no reason why Nick Chubb can't do that. If you get Deshaun, because Deshaun yesterday talked about getting, I think it was an IV at halftime because he was cramping. If Deshaun can be an improved passer in week 2, which I'm still hoping that he does, I don't see any reason why the Browns can't win this game. The mood around them, George Pickens is liking tweets. Have been down that road before. And you're missing Deontay Johnson, you're missing Cam Hayward. Those are 2 guys that have given the Browns fits. I mean, injuries happened. The Browns are missing Jack Conklin, but DeJuan Jones stepped in pretty good. I'm feeling good about it. I think the Browns can be 2-0 for the first time since 1993. What say you?
You just brought up DeJuan Jones. I wish we got to get back to him.
Okay.
That guy needs, like, man, what a performance from a rookie.
Yeah.
Because the Bengals got some good defensive ends.
Yeah.
But whatever. That was the last game. We're on to Cincinnati, or we're on to Pittsburgh.
We can still talk about them in another segment. I mean, I know that we like to focus on all the other teams, and we give them their just due. I mean, you guys got to know, like, I'll get to the point of the Guardians. Like, I don't know how much I can. I'm gonna watch them because I'm always gonna be a baseball fan. But
that would be a really short segment.
Yes, that'd be like a really short segment.
Hey man, we gave them a lot of airtime this year, and slowly dwindled down just a little bit by little bit. It's
we get our last view of Terry Francona managing the Guardians this Saturday with the in-laws. So we're looking forward to that. I think they're trying to make Lincoln a shirt that said, "I'm only here for Tito."
Nice.
More so, my mother-in-law wants to do that because she's always had a crush on Terry Francona. So
nice.
Not to out you. Sorry, she's not here. They went back home. So I'll catch that one on Saturday.
Yeah.
Guys, I mean, going to Pittsburgh, you always have to. I don't want to say be nervous, but you always have to. You have to be focused. You can't just. The players can't think that. Look how easy it was in game 1. This is how it's going to be. This team doesn't have this player and that player and this player. This isn't the same team. Kenny Pickett's throwing interceptions all over the place. 2 different years, but Kenny Pickett still beat you last year. And going in with a mindset like that, a guy like that can beat you. I'm not here to say that Kenny Pickett is all world and that his hands are much bigger than people want to make you believe that they are. I'm not here to give any sort of flowers to the Pittsburgh Steelers other than you still have to go out and beat them. You can be a better team on paper. You still got to go beat them. Going to Pittsburgh for Cleveland has always been this monkey on our back. We got it off a little bit, but we went there when there were no fans there and won a playoff game. It still mattered. And it's still a huge feat for that team. But this is going to be one of only 2 games going on that night. For some reason, week 2 is the doubleheader instead of week 1 for Monday Night Football. Don't understand it. Doesn't matter. Peyton Manning, Eli Manning aren't going to be doing the game. But it's still going to be one of only 2 games that the whole nation is going to have their eyes. You know that Pittsburgh is going to be packed. Acrisure Stadium, wherever the hell they call it now. I don't really care because I hate Pittsburgh, but they're going to have that stadium packed.
We'll just call it Toilet Bowl Stadium from now on.
Toilet Bowl Stadium works for me. You just have to be ready. And the same kind of energy, effort that we saw from this team at home, that crowd is going to be loud from the start, but they're not for you. Come out with that same energy, hit them in the mouth first, quiet that stadium, and that is going to be the best sound that you can hear. All you'll hear is Browns fans by the end. If this team does exactly what they did and execute the plan, make adjustments as you need to. So, no, Jay, I'm not nervous, but I always have like this, I don't know, like this sixth sense on that to not go too far and think, oh, we're just going to run in there and run over.
Here's
you
my
have
thing.
to go take it to them and actually do it.
My whole thing, and this is where I want to see the growth of this team from past failures, is don't be smelling yourself from last week. Don't be still celebrating last week's things like that. You put that in the past.
Yep.
And after a huge win, I don't know how many times they came back and just laid clunkers. It would drive me insane. You're like, oh, they were reading their press clippings and feeling themselves, and they were unfocused. Like, I want them to be like, all right, that was sweet, awesome, whatever, it's done. Like we're saying, right on to Pittsburgh. We have another huge division game, and you said, you got to go there and take that crowd out of them and punch them right in the mouth and be physical like you were right with Cincinnati, because everyone's saying like, oh, Pittsburgh's offensive line is revamped. Like, that tells me, is another way you could word it, is they're unproven.
Sure.
Like, and we got these veterans on this defense. So when the crowd's loud, they're going to guide those younger guys to do the right thing, make the right moves. And like last week, we didn't see guys lost in the secondary because they're all playing man. They're back to what they're doing. And like Deontay Johnson's gone. So that now we're down to Kenny Pickens. Like, he doesn't have burner speed. He's a jump ball receiver. He's kind of like Larry Fitzgerald was, but I don't want to say he's no Larry. Oh, he is good.
He is,
but he's not Tyreek Hill, like gonna fly past anybody. Like, you just gotta stay in front of him and make sure he doesn't get his hands on that ball. Yeah. And our corners can do that. Like, I think Emerson's going to be matched up on him because of the size.
That's going to be a big matchup because of that wingspan, the height of Emerson, and how he can get his hands in there. He's going to have to play smart. They're going to have to get their heads turned around because Pittsburgh's going to come in pissed off from basically laying an egg last Sunday, and Tomlin's going to have them ready to go. So you know that, these wide receivers, they may have saw how the cornerbacks and safeties played for the Browns. They're going to try to use all of the offensive rules, the offensive favoring rules, the NFL, to their advantage. And again, you're going to have to play sound football and just be a team. And it's God, I always want to beat Pittsburgh, guys. But Jay, this team, like you said, cannot start smelling themselves. And one thing I would do, as much as us fans have put it in the past, up 13 a minute 55 in week 2 last year, had a chance to go to 2-0 for the first time since 1993. Started feeling yourself a little bit and didn't close out the game. They closed out last week.
Yep.
You want to do it again? You want to stay motivated to not be that team last year? That is the microcosm game of last year. That is the example of being the exact opposite of this season.
Perfect why I always say no regrets, only lessons. Use that New York game, everyone that was on that team, as a lesson and learn from it. Don't regret it. It happened. It's in the past. Learn from it. Move on. Let's not let this happen again.
I know Pittsburgh has some insanely good record on Monday night, especially at home. I don't know the exact record. I know
it's
really
19. Tomlin, I think, is 19-3.
Okay, that's obnoxious. But I just feel that I feel like right now there are seeds of doubt in Pittsburgh. I see it from their fans. You definitely see it from Pickens and his body language and what's going on between, we've seen that type of thing happen in Cleveland time and time again, where, things aren't going well. All of a sudden, guys aren't getting along. They start to worry more about themselves and just their next contract. I know we're only a weekend, but my point is, I think they're a little bit vulnerable. Because not only could the Browns go up to 2-0, but the Steelers could go down to 0-2. And they've got this insane winning streak.
They haven't had a losing record under Tomlin.
Winning season streak. That's what. Yeah, they haven't. They've never.
To hit on what you're saying, where they're vulnerable. What I was thinking about is if you go back to last year, all the teams that played San Francisco, because they are like probably the most physical defense out there.
Yeah,
they beat them up so bad. The record for the next game is ridiculously bad. Like so many teams lost after they played San Fran the next week.
Yeah,
and we got to take advantage of that. Like, don't let, because it was one of the, it was like a double. It was like, oh sweet, they're playing them, but they beat them so bad. One team that I know that's like they're not gonna like that is Pittsburgh and Mike Tomlin. They're mad. They're upset. They're pissed that what happened to them, and they're not gonna let that happen again unless you just don't care and you just do it to them again anyways.
Yeah,
which is great. We got some big matchups coming in this game, and my biggest matchup, I think, is the rookie right tackle DeJuan Jones. I always want to say the wrong name, but whatever. DeJuan Jones versus TJ Watt. What do you guys think? What do you expect from him, more or less, I'd say?
Well, DeJuan was a lot better in pass blocking than he was in run blocking. So that at least makes me feel a little bit better. TJ Watt is a really powerful rusher. I think DeJuan is a large human being. We all know that. I mean,
he's big Thanos.
He's still a rookie. He was called in action. He played pretty well. If I heard it correctly, he did not allow a pressure in his game action last week, which is encouraging to me. But TJ Watt still went crazy against San Francisco. It just didn't matter. So I'm not gonna sit here and act like TJ Watt's he's gonna get his. I think no matter what, TJ Watt is going to get his. So my game plan is to try and limit those around him. I'm hoping that if DeJuan can continue to play at the level he did against Cincinnati, I think the Browns will at least that's good enough play to keep them afloat and to keep them moving and to not be dramatic detriment to the offense. I do think the Jack Conklin loss is bigger than we're probably treating it right now. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's been an All-Pro multiple times in his career, who was playing well before he. That was a freak injury. He literally just got. I think it was Hendricks.
He got rolled up on.
Yeah. So what are you going to do about that? But luckily, the Browns drafted DeJuan. They took advantage of a guy who fell and obviously has clear intangibles and just you can't teach size and you can't teach size. So it's a big test. I think if DeJuan can at least play averagely, I think I will still feel good about the Browns' chances to win.
Yeah, you can't let the game record that can be TJ Watt do just that and wreck the game just all by himself and keep the Steelers in, because the 49ers didn't. When I was tuning into the game, I saw TJ Watt coming around the corner at Brock Purdy like countless times. I'm thinking, oh man, like the Steelers got to be like up in this game. And it's a clear screen, and the scoreboard comes up, and I'm seeing like 27-7. I'm like, oh, okay. So he's not having that big of an impact, even though he's getting his. My fear with DeJuan Jones against him, not saying that the rookie can't hold his own, but he is such a big man, and he is so tall. What does TJ Watt do so well? He bends at edge, he gets down, he has that good balance, so he can get low and get around. So you're going to need to send some help to TJ Watt in order to have success in the pass game, because you can't allow TJ Watt to wreck it. He makes a couple quick sacks on one drive. Now you're in a 3-and-out already. So now you've stalled out. Now the offense doesn't have momentum. Then do the wheels start to spin that way? This team is going to have to take what they see in this film from the 49ers game. How did the 49ers overcome TJ Watt still being able to do what he did best and take some of those adjustments that they did. And if TJ Watt adjusts, then you need to have guys and coaching staffs looking at those Microsoft surfaces, making those adjustments right away. Nick, you mentioned Jack Conklin. One thing I did want to say about Jack Conklin and some of the other guys around the league, J.K. Dobbins from Ohio State, Aaron Rodgers, the people that were just making fun of these guys for getting hurt. There was some people like taking pride in, like some people saying death, taxes, and Jack Conklin on a stretcher. Like,
yeah.
why are we taking so much pride? And I get it's social media. I get that it's just a lot of idiocracy out there. But I mean, these guys are. I hate that Jack Conklin has dealt with so many injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, once they start, they don't stop. But like that doesn't make it funny that he continues to be out, not available for this. Do you think he, just goes out there and thinking like, oh yeah, like I'm just going to get hurt again because I don't really want to play for this team? No, he's giving everything he has. That's a freak injury of somebody rolling into him. Aaron Rodgers, we can make all the comments we want about what he says and the stupidity sometimes that does come out of his mouth and how many times we have to talk about Aaron Rodgers. But to see that Achilles rupture and like see those close-ups of it, God, you got to feel for the guy that at 40 years old, how much more does he have, and to do that so quickly in a game. J.K. Dobbins hasn't been able to be on the field for the Ravens. It's a rival of ours, but I want to go best on best against our rivals. I'm not here to make fun of people. There's
no need to find humor in someone's injuries. It's just
it grinded my gears so much that people found humor in that kind of stuff and made all these jokes and all that stuff. It's been on my chest for a while, guys.
I get it. Like it was bothering me too. It's funny you hit on that because I mean you saw me tear mine. Like that hurt so bad. Like you drove me to the hospital and I'm in the back seat. Like just I can't really remember all that well because I was in a lot of freaking pain, man. It hurts. And then beyond that, you work so hard to get back for the game you love, and then they just get hurt again. And then people are like, "Oh, he's soft." That's why I've told you before. I can't stand when people say someone's soft because they're hurt. Like, no, you ain't soft if you can keep coming back from injuries and work your butt off.
Yeah.
Like it is so hard. Like I dare people to even just attempt to do those workouts when they're healthy, let alone do them while you're hurt.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough road. But I guess I should start with this. No matter what team these guys play for, they work their whole lives to be there and to get to the NFL and to continue playing and to battle back from the injuries. I mean, Jack has battled back from a ton of injuries. So I don't care what team you play for. It sucks to see guys who work their whole lives to be on that field get taken off of it for something that they can not well beyond their control. And in such a freaky way, because Jack's already tore his ACL in that same knee. So I can't even imagine what he must be feeling right now. He's still 29. So I'm hoping that maybe we will see Jack on the field again. He's hurt in the first week of the season. So by the time you're looking at next year, it's been a full 12 months. So I imagine it's going to take a while, but maybe I think there's still a possibility because I saw people basically saying that like, oh, that's Jack's last snap as a Brown. That might be Jack's last snap in the NFL. And I still have some faith that he can come back. So hopefully for him and all these guys, you hope the best for him and especially for J.K. Dobbins, man, because that's obviously
he just never really got to get going.
Yeah, I was listening and it seems like, right now Ohio State got the best, most healthy years out of him, and that's just to finally get to the NFL and then just deal with the injuries he has.
Would you guys see the NFLPA is now calling for the NFL to have all the fields grass?
Good.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah,
I did see that. I saw Bakhtiari was one of the main ones in talking about how they're gonna change these stadiums surfaces for the World Cup when it comes to your next summer or in 2026. Sorry, 2026. Which the whole world will be here. And I was driving home from the hospital last night. Jana got her gallbladder taken out. She had finished her surgery, and I was driving home and one of the national radio programs was on, and the guy was he was playing devil's advocate a little bit with with the NFLPA. Now, I hadn't seen that the NFLPA had actually said anything, but this guy was actually saying that the NFLPA needs to step up and do something. But Bakhtiari just coming out and saying that, of course, they're going to change it for the World Cup because the entire world's eyes are going to be on it. It's going to be this big event the country's going to want to put forth. I know that the league has done studies on what is a better surface. I'm not the biggest fan of artificial turf, especially like this new synthetic field turf. It's not the carpet.
I've never played on
the AstroTurf.
Really?
Never.
Wow. I just think.
I mean,
I'm sorry, Kevin.
No, it's all right. Like I've played games on it, and like I've dealt with injuries, but I've had the same injuries on grass. So it's a hard thing to say. I think it's based on the circumstance you're in, maybe the area that you're in. I feel like New York could have real grass. I mean, but they have a lot of concerts and a lot of events there, and so it's all about money. But the NFL and the NFLPA really do need to come together and actually, whatever numbers are right, they need to figure it out. What is better, the injury wise, real grass or whatever, and then figure it out from there.
That excuse just isn't good enough to me. I don't care what shows or what events or whatever you're having. You're building these multi-billion-dollar palaces with every bell and whistle imaginable to maximize, the money that you're going to make out of it. And you were stopping short at grass. If the players union, if the players themselves, and if the mounting evidence is piling up that guys are getting more hurt on this artificial turf as opposed to grass, then I think that's a no-brainer for me.
It's going to change.
It should change.
I can almost guarantee you they will go eventually be at all grass. People invest way too much money in these players. Like, they don't want to see them tear their Achilles.
Yeah, I mean, every owner is a billionaire, right? It's not like we're going
except for poor Cincinnati.
Well,
crappy chilly town.
So, but regardless, it's like every one of these owners can afford to have grass on the stadium. And I bet you, is it Woody Johnson who owns the Jets? I believe it's Woody Johnson.
I believe so, yeah.
I bet you he's feeling some type of way about having grass. I was actually, it's funny. I went back this morning and I was watching the NFL Live that was the lead up to Monday Night Football, and they are just talking all this Aaron Rodgers and showing all these Jets fans that have bought Aaron Rodgers jerseys, and Mike Greenberg's all excited. You could just see it; it's palpable. They're talking about this whole season of Aaron Rodgers and all this stuff that's and it's like in an instant it's over. And I think that's not good for the NFL. That's not good for Aaron Rodgers. It's not good for anybody.
Yeah. My only thing is if they change some of these stadiums that have artificial turf to natural grass, they're going to have to do it the right way, and they can't have it just be put in and just roll this thing of sod or grass over top, or just put it in right before the season starts, because guess what? That's when more injuries happen. We don't have a field that's actually set, and that's my fear for the World Cup. Being the soccer guy that I am, my fear is these stadiums are just going to put it in like a week or two before. Countries are going to come in, they're not going to get much time on it. They're going to be slipping all over the place, and there's going to be big concerns about that, because again, the grass has to set. You're not going to get good, firm control and traction on grass like you want to if you're just going to roll this thing. And I think I saw it. I don't know what game it was for. Maybe it was for the Super Bowl, but at Arizona where they rolled it was just like this thing that they rolled over top of the turf field. At Arizona was natural grass, and then people were slipping all over the place. The paint wasn't painted spots on the field.
Arizona's grass it's grass. It comes out, and they let it out. They let it sit in the sun and cook, and then when the game starts, they could pull it right back in, and then they
Yeah,
but
it was
I don't know.
Something it was like a new set of grass that they had rolled in for the Super Bowl, and then
I wonder if it was. I think it wasn't the seeding.
That's the thing that concerns me about, because when I played football, I mean, I only played 1 year back in high school 1,000 years ago, but we played on natural grass, and it was
Peter
a mess.
Invented football. I don't know.
I mean, but halfway through the season, it was a mess. And, and for high school, they had a full-time guy. His whole job was to maintain the football field. And during the summer, he had several helpers that helped him like maintain the football field and take care of it and get it ready for the season. Halfway through the season, it was crap. I mean, people were getting hurt on it because there wasn't, it was mud.
Hmm.
And there was no roots for the grass, because it was just so chewed up. So I think it'll be interesting to find out what the studies say, about the injuries, and is it that there's more injuries? Are they different types of injuries? Or
all I know is that
more
New York
severe?
Stadium
Yeah.
is like the notorious ACL. It tears people's Achilles left and right. Like, people hate going there.
Yeah.
So I was listening to, I can't remember what I was listening to, but someone was talking about the way the turf interacts with the cleats, that it snags more, like it's like it'll bite you.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, and
it
see,
definitely.
And that's the thing is, if
snags more.
maybe they need to re-engineer the turf.
Yeah,
if it's a problem. I mean, I don't know.
Something out.
There's they got to figure something out. I just remember the only turf I played on was down at the Rubber Bowl for intramural football in college, and that was literally like concrete with green carpet on it. It was the worst.
Nice.
It was like playing in a parking lot.
AstroTurf.
Yeah,
look,
it was
we're
terrible.
having this conversation. I'm just gonna say I'm not I didn't get my degree in different types of seating and grass and stuff, but eye test can tell you a lot, and I think all four of us can see that there's just something not right when it comes to the amount of impact in football with artificial turf. But again, I don't want to see it just done like
it's got to be done right.
And then, do it right, because guess what? The Brown Stadium, they've been working on that for a while, and I saw a bunch of guys slip around this past Sunday. Yes, it was raining and stuff.
God, do we need a stadium? That's a whole nother conversation.
Let's
we gotta before we get down another long conversation, we do have to take another break, guys. But when we get back, we're gonna go around the league and talk about what happened in our division and other divisions. We are the Voice of the Land, brought to you by Big Play and Vector Technical.
Are you struggling to hire the right talent or maybe even find the right career? Vector Technical makes it easy. Since 1992, Vector has provided Ohio employers with a reliable process for hiring and have helped thousands of job seekers advance in their careers. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. We invest time to get to know each client and candidate personally. Vector places people in job opportunities that they are truly excited about. Interested in learning more? Visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com to see a full list of our current job opportunities and to find out what Vector Technical can offer you.
Get your gear at voiceoftheland.com/shop.
Welcome back in, guys. We are the Voice of the Land and the Big Play Network, brought to you by Vector Technical. As we all know, is the first week of the NFL, so we're going to go around the league, and we're going to start with my second favorite game of the week.
Ooh.
And we've already talked about how they got demolished by the 49ers. How enjoyable was that, guys?
I'll tell you what, the number one thing I noticed from the highlights of that game were how many 49ers fans were in the stands. That honestly, especially for a home opener in Pittsburgh, when I do think momentum was definitely in there. Like, people were excited in Pittsburgh until, I mean, obviously they got their behinds kicked, but that surprised me. And just, I honestly thought that would be a closer game. Like, I thought Pittsburgh at home would have at least a fighting game, right? But they got obliterated. I think it's pretty rare that you see Pittsburgh really just not even be competitive, and that's like, I hate admitting that, but it's pretty shocking to me that that it was that lopsided.
I guess, yeah. I mean, it was shocking to me that it was so lopsided, especially week one. Tomlin always having his team ready to go. I mean, you've been preparing for 2 weeks for the same team, so as good as the 49ers are, the fans actually didn't surprise me, because I feel like that's one of those quiet, big fan bases for the 49ers. So you just
Sure.
And just like anybody, I mean, there might be a bandwagon group that jumps on, but Pittsburgh fans travel well, but I feel like 49ers fans are out there. I don't know. I drive around downtown I don't.
Well, there's a
going to
lot,
work and
dude.
stuff,
Like
like,
Yeah.
those 80s
I see-
teams definitely
Well,
produced a lot of
They
49ers
just have
fans.
generations of good teams.
Yeah, you had Joe Montana, then you went right to Steve Young. You had the greatest receiver ever in Jerry Rice. So, yeah, there's a lot of 49ers fans. There's a huge fan base.
Like they've found their way to the Super Bowl a bunch of different times.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah. Hey, Jay, our buddy Nick C has been commenting on our YouTube thing again. And,
What's he got to say
don't know.
over there?
well, he's saying steel curtain all rusted out. He was kind of chiming in on some of this. He was chiming in on some of the other stuff that we had. He like hating the rubber pieces that get into your turf shoe. And we were just talking about grass versus artificial, and he wanted to shout out his fantasy team. I mean, I guess we can say it on these airwaves because it's still not bad. It says pick 6 on your chick.
Nice.
So
We're
his
going to talk about
team.
fantasy. So in me and Nick are in a league together, right? I got the second highest score of the week.
But
Awesome,
someone
awesome.
else had the first
Yeah,
highest
I got to
score.
play the first high score of the week again.
Tyreek Hill.
It happens to me every fantasy year. One of my teams just like, oh, they're great. Oh, wait, we're playing this team. And next week, you know what? I bet you score 80.
Maybe.
That's what's going to happen. It happens to me all the time. But
I scored 75 in my league because my quarterback went down.
Yeah, I had Aaron Rodgers, so yeah.
I had Daniel Jones.
No one cares about our fantasy league, so we won't
Yeah,
get into that too far into that. The other game in our division, unfortunately, Baltimore did win 25-9 because they were lucky enough to pull Houston for their season opener. They had, it's like I kind of feel like when Ohio State played Youngstown State, it was just like a warm-up game to get them in rhythm because, frankly, their offense didn't look all that good, to be honest with you guys.
Yeah. I was honestly, it surprised me because like Baltimore was at home and you added a whole bunch of new weapons. You got Todd Monken, who despite only being here for a year, I mean, the Browns offense was good when he was here. And honestly, that surprised me because I believe it was a close game at halftime. And like Houston, I don't think there's really any expectations there. I mean, I'm hoping CJ Stroud does well and all of that. But
I mean, he outplayed Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, that's
technically he was 28 for 44 for 242. Lamar was 17 for 22, 169 in interception.
169 interception.
I'll tell you this much: they finally drafted a good receiver. Huh?
Deshaun only had 156 or something like that in the game. I mean, he did throw the touchdown, but I think a more
I don't think Lamar Jackson was playing in the rain and the conditions either. But yeah,
right.
And they're playing Houston compared to Cincinnati, who's also a better defense. But I get your point.
I just think in general, you leave week one thinking maybe the AFC North is a little weaker than we had initially.
I don't overreact to week one. I'll tell you right now. Week one, I don't want to overreact positive or negative to anything.
I mean, what? But you're saying Nick's overreacting. What if he's just reacting? Like he doesn't.
I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You might be right.
I mean,
Nick Padone said the same thing, and then I gave him slack for it. So I had to give you slack for it.
I think we obviously Baltimore and Pittsburgh are always those teams that just find a way, no matter what, no matter who their quarterback is, they just seem to have winning seasons and make it to the playoffs and that kind of thing. I get that. I respect that. But at some point, all of these trends, the Browns being bad, the Ravens and Steelers being good, they have to end, right? The NFL is designed.
All good things have to come to an end.
The NFL is designed to help
all bad
the worst teams more, right? The Browns have been building this since they were 0-16. I just think at some point, and it may just stay the same. Right? It may just stay the same. But I think this could be the beginning of it changing.
Right. And I think we're going to know a lot after the first 4 weeks because the Browns get every AFC North team in the first 4 weeks. And I'm kind of done with the Browns being the only team in the league that's anemic to the NFL system being set up to help bad teams get good. That's for sure. So let's hope that this continues.
To your point, though, Nick, and let's just say Kenny Pickens sucks like I believe he does, and Kenny Carnahan just continues to throw the interceptions and is not good.
Okay.
And what has Lamar Jackson? How's he finished the last 2 seasons? Where injured.
Yeah.
And when with injuries start, they don't really stop. So, and the only other guy we got to worry about in our division is Joe Burrow, who's amazing, but he can't beat us. And as long as Jamar Chase keeps ticking off our defense players and trying to call Cleveland, I mean, yeah.
I just think that when you look at the teams on paper, you say the Browns are if they're not the most talented bunch among the 4 teams in the division, they're certainly right up there. And in the past, we've seen Cleveland fall short despite that a lot of the time. And I just feel like seeing that type of defensive performance has really invigorated me. If Deshaun can raise his level of play, I see no reason why the Browns can't be there competing to win the division at the end of the year. That's I'm not trying to sip the Kool-Aid too much. I'm just saying that if the defense continues to play like that and Deshaun raises his play, why can't they compete for the division title? Why not?
I mean, anything's possible. Anything's possible in this game.
We haven't seen it, but that doesn't mean it's not
All right,
possible.
KG. All right, KG.
Anything is possible. I didn't even think about it until you said that. I was like, KG. Oh, yeah,
Love
I
it.
forgot he was screaming that. Other scores we got Baker beat the Vikings. I think the Vikings are pretty overrated. Another AFC team losing is the Titans, losing to the Saints by 1 point, 15-16. Wow, that was real entertaining. Panthers lose to the Falcons, 24-10. Jaguars, they look tough. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's an AFC team that is coming up. Calvin Ridley is back, and he's for real. Yeah, he was on your team. Yeah, we're not going to bring that up anymore.
He didn't miss a beat, did he?
No. He missed a bet, but he didn't miss a beat. We got here's the garbage bowl of the week. The Cardinals versus the Washington Commanders. Commanders come out on top of that one. Raiders versus the Broncos. Jeez, man, these are some really bad games.
Yeah.
Raiders versus Broncos, 17-16. Like, that is just boring.
Well, but I think some of these games, though, Jay, I think you could take a little solace in, because if we're not going to overreact to week 1, a lot of these teams feel like they'd be playing better. Browns only scored 24, but they were kind of like middle of the pack, if not upper echelon of the pack of scoring points this past weekend, and they feel like they can score a lot more. So that's something to take with you. Like the Broncos and some of these other teams, I mean, there was low scoring games. We know the offense is going to pick up, and Browns feel like when their offense really gets going, they're going to be able to outscore the other teams as their offenses get going. So if their bar or low bar is 17, ours is 24, that gap is should get wider and wider as the Browns get going there.
Hey, only 8 teams scored over 24 points. So, wow. But mentioning scoring, you got the Dolphins scoring 36, beating Chargers who scored 34.
They look legit.
Yeah.
Tua.
If Tua can last and he can finally clean up those concussions,
yeah,
they're a contender for sure. And so are the Chargers, man. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Only problem is Justin Herbert, man. He's just a choke artist over a quarterback. Is it him or the coach? I don't know, but that dude, even in college, at the end of games, just never seemed to pull him out.
I would say more so the coach than Justin Herbert. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to look at a quarterback that might be starting to look maybe overrated, I'm not going to put this moniker on him yet, but Josh Allen just he's starting to make mistakes.
I've seen a lot, like a stat where it's like how many he's like the last 19 games, he averages 2 turnovers a game.
He's up there.
Yeah.
Another guy overrated, Daniel Jones.
Oh man,
holy crap! Did they overpay for that, dude? That was a mistake.
Dallas looks legit. And the NFC
40-0.
The NFC is crazy. I'd
trade a first round pick to get in the NFC. I'll tell you right now.
There's like 3 teams that like San Francisco, Philadelphia, and Dallas, right?
That's it.
And then you look at the rest of it, and you're like, right? But it's like the AFC. There's a list a mile long, and I wanted to say about the Chargers are weird, man, because you look at them and you're like, okay, they've got all this talent at wide receiver. They've got Austin Eckler. They've got a good offensive line. They got Justin Herbert. They keep signing all these guys on defense. Like J.C. Jackson was their really big addition, and he actually got. It's funny. I saw the replay. He had a mind-boggling passing interference right before the half that was like 40 yards down the field, and he got called for it. And so the Chargers lost by 2 points. His passing interference right before the half moved the Dolphins into field goal range, let them kick that field goal, right, and ended up being the difference in that game.
Which Let's bring that right back to the Browns game.
Okay.
One thing the Browns did not do is
yeah.
make stupid shoot yourself in the foot mistakes. Hats off, Kevin Stefanski. That's how you coach a team. Thank God. Like, I don't know how many times I'd see a first down. What do you all Browns fans do? We look right down to the bottom right corner.
Yep.
We're like, please don't light that little icon up with the yellow flag thing. Yes, we're good. We're good. We're first down.
Jacob said every time he sees a Nick Chubb run for more than 10 yards, his first thought is to look for the flag.
Yeah, did anything for like I'm trained to do that.
Yeah,
now.
Yeah.
We've been trained the wrong way. Hey, did you guys see as we do look around the league? Nick C brings this up in our comments too, but apparently Jana does care about one of our fantasy teams, but that's just because we need money because we have a 4-month-old at home. I'm sorry, I'll try to do better week 2. I'm sorry, baby. But Nick C did mention that bar in New York that said that they'd pay for everybody's, not. I think in Wisconsin, whoever said that they would pay for everybody's tab if the Jets lost because of Aaron Rodgers being there.
Wow.
And like people started racking up.
Yep, I saw that.
Bills, and the Jets still ended up winning that game. So everybody had to pay these big bar tabs.
Yeah, go look up the video on that.
Clink, 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 clink,
There's video where these guys, they look like they're just smashed, and they're like, "What? Like I gotta pay this now?"
Wow.
You know what?
I've seen a few of those in Muni.
The way when we talk about around the NFL, I just think there were a lot of teams in the AFC that lost. That when you're saying so I think it's really important this year too, because so let's rewind the clock a little bit. The Browns go to the AFC divisional round. And I think after that year, all of a sudden we started looking around the NFL and we're like, okay, we need to start caring about all these playoff teams and seeding and wins and losses because we're competing and our expectation is to make the playoffs. So then you go back to last year and Deshaun suspended 11 games. Jacoby Brissett's there. So you kind of lower the bar. I think collectively we all did. But now it's important again because our expectations are there to start looking around the NFL because from the very jump, right? Every one of these weeks matters. You only have 17 of them. A lot of AFC teams that you're going to be fighting with for seeding lost week 1. I know it's just 1 week. But
the nice thing is they lost to NFC teams.
Yeah,
so they still have to beat each other up.
Yeah.
Still, that's
Chiefs lost, Bills lost, Jets lost Aaron Rodgers, which I mean sucks, but when you're looking at it from a football perspective, that's a huge loss for them. Chargers lost. That's all I got right now. Steelers lost. So all good things. All good things for the Browns and potentially looking down the pipe.
Yeah. Well, we got one more break and we're gonna talk some Guardians, even though they're not doing too hot, but we still pay our respects to all our teams on this show. This is this is the voice of the land on the Big Play Network. We are not the Big Play Show.
Are you looking for a career in manufacturing? Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that is partnered with some of the biggest and the best companies throughout Northeastern Ohio. The recruiters at Vector Technical will coach you through the entire job process and will help you land an opportunity that you are truly excited about. Vector does not add any additional fees and offers benefits as well as free online skills training through Penn Foster. To learn more, visit www.vectortechnicalinc.com and make sure to check out our job board to see a full list of our current opportunities and apply.
Welcome back into the voice of the land, or as I was about to say, the Vector Technical Big Play land of the show. It'll happen. It'll happen. But here's our last segment, and the season's winding down, guys, for the Guardians. And one of the greatest managers ever to manage the game of baseball. It's his last season, and I'm kind of disappointed in the way it's going to end. Tito should be going out in the playoffs, and frankly, I am pissed off at the front office. I can't believe they didn't go all in this year. Like, they should have went all in. First off, I said they should have went all in when you sign any year that Jose Ramirez is under contract. This team should be all in trying to win a championship. But now Tito's going out, not on a playoff run. And frankly, it just breaks my heart.
It's painful. I think about 2016 a lot because that's as close as you were one game away from winning the World Series, and really just I think that would have been it, right, because we look at it with the Cavs and we're like, well, maybe they struggle now, but it's like we still got that title in 2016, so it's like that kind of absolves everything else. At least for me, it does. That's tough.
Well, we've said the Cavs can't do no wrong to me.
I just think, yes, you're right, and I just think when you look at the season and you lose McKenzie right before, and then you lose Bieber, and just once those two things happened, I feel like they may have just shifted their plan, and you saw that with trading away Savale, and just what they did at the deadline. I understand what you're saying, Jay, that they should have gone all in. I get your point, but I don't think the front office is going to deviate from their plan, regardless of if it's Tito's last year. That sucks, but I think that's just.
Oh, I agree.
nature
They're
of
not
the
going
beast.
to.
Yeah, but I
They
wish
should have.
it would be. Those playoffs last year were so much fun, and I was at the final game against the Rays when we won, and when Oscar Gonzalez hit that bomb, and just the place went nuts. It was amazing. I love playoff baseball. I wish we were back in it. It's sad.
Gav.
I mean, Jay, Peter, Nick, I don't know how much you know, but baseball and Cleveland baseball.
This dude,
what it
hold on.
means.
He got married at League Park. Like he was married on a baseball field.
All right. Okay.
Every chair at his wedding reception had Indians jerseys on it.
Wow.
His food was baseball themed food.
Okay.
Kevin is a baseball lover of all lovers.
Good for you.
Let me do it for you, Kev. Sorry.
I appreciate that, but I give more credit. I give more credit to Jana because Jana is the baseball lover. I'm the sports lover with an
She's
affinity.
the player.
She's the player, and like baseball is that for her. But I mean, baseball has always meant a lot to me because of my grandfather, and it's gonna be cool to kind of go on Saturday, and if it is Terry's last ride, to at least say, hey, like towards the end, I got a chance to see it. But it is disappointing. I mean, Jana's, she's now blowing up the chat because baseball means even more to her. Tristan McKenzie, she said when he went down the first time, they should have went out and gotten another starting pitcher to try to balance out this starting rotation. I get where the front office went and they want to see what some of these young guys can do, but I mean, right now I'm not seeing this other like Ellie De La Cruz, the Reds, and some of these other guys that come up. Like they light the world on fire. Did they play that way the entire year? No, but you see that talent, that initial spark that they give, and then as they get used to the major league game, you're going to see probably Ellie De La Cruz's name out there a lot because he's going to be impacting games. You understand the major league game. I don't see that from this team, and that's so frustrating that we don't develop. It's so top heavy to pitching. Like I love how well we can develop pitchers, and pitching means a lot in the game of baseball. But boy, you gotta have deep lineups that are going to be consistent. Now, Andres Jimenez hasn't been what he was last year, and hope that that's kind of this year's the anomaly and not last year. There's other guys throughout this lineup that have not had those years, but you've had a great year from Josh Naylor. Like, hope that he can continue that. Bo Naylor, I think probably he's the young player that we've seen the most from. Oscar Gonzalez, everybody always clamors for him to come up because he lights it up in AAA, and he comes up here, and there's just, it's deer in the headlights, and it's, you're only going to get so many chances. You want to see that take a turn in the right direction. So it is sad to see Terry go out this way if that is the case. But hey, they need to this offseason, even if you have to find another manager, there is a little bit more of pushing chips to the center of the table. Browns kind of did that. Cavs are kind of in that mode. Guardians have some young talent should start doing that. But is ownership in this front office actually going to do it? I don't know. And we might just run it back with what we already have, and it's just the same old all over again. This division is so wide open. They were given chance after chance after chance from the Twins. They never took hold of it, and it's a shame to see what has actually transpired this season.
Well, Kev, as usual, we're gonna have you close us out the show, even though I've been doing all the openings. A little
That's all
easier.
right.
But
You might have to. You still might have to run next week because
That's
Jayla's
fine.
gonna. I'm gonna have to probably be here and taking care of Jay and the baby because she can't lift him for a couple weeks having her gallbladder taken.
Not a problem. But before we
that
do
is
get
gonna
to
do
you,
it.
nope.
Uh-oh.
I want you guys to get if Tito was watching this, I want your message to Tito. Mine is the thing I want to what I'm most thankful for is the culture that Tito has put in place in this organization and how you play the game. Thank you so much, Tito. Nick?
I appreciate the consistency and just like you're always competitive. It's been very refreshing because the Cavs have been dramatically up or dramatically down. The Browns have been consistently down, and it's just like baseball in Cleveland. You always know that you're going to be able to watch something that's competitive, that's entertaining, that's fun. I love that. The stability has been amazing, and I appreciate it.
Terry, you brought baseball. I'm going to kind of piggyback off what Nick just said. Terry, you have brought baseball to the forefront of Cleveland sports when this is a football town, and to do that, it takes wonders, and to do that with what you've been given resource wise from the front office, more so from ownership and how the front office is set to work. I'm not here to take shots at them or anything like that, but the market that you're working in and the resources you've had to work with and the amount of competitive years we have had here in Cleveland, where we have liked to have gotten to the finish line, you're going to be the first person to say that. When you look back on your time with Cleveland and you have those exit interviews, you're going to be talking about those kind of things. And that's just the type of person that you are. You're going to take it on yourself. You're going to take it on your shoulders. But just know that Cleveland has loved you, does love you, will always love you here as part of the Cleveland baseball and Cleveland sports fabric. And the memories that you've been able to give me and being able to sit alongside my grandfather who started my baseball fandom, my baseball love, to be able to share those moments in this era of baseball with him and sitting alongside him in our grandparents' living room. It means a lot. And thank you so much, Terry. If this is the end, all good things will be remembered from us, the real fans. Those that want to criticize you at the end, they don't matter. Thank you so much, Tito. We love you.
Very well put, Kevin. Very well put. Very well put, Nick, too. Thank you for coming on, Nick. It was awesome.
No, this has been really cool. I was saying during the break, I am a co-host of the Barking Brown Show, and we do a lot of stuff with Network 216 to help with that. But when we do our episodes, we have mostly stayed to specifically Browns, and it was really nice to kind of branch out of that bubble. And so I appreciate you both.
You missed it last week. How many? What did we talk? 15 sports and five
15, 16 different sports.
In like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
just started rattling.
We got off
things.
the rails.
Yeah.
No, the voice of the land. They got
That's what we do a lot. We go off the rails and we talk all sports. We've got golf. We talk soccer. We talk it all.
You guys got this fancy schmancy studio going on. I've appreciated being here. So thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Right. Door's always open, except you got to text Peter to get in. That's all. All right. Well, as we always do, for always positive Jay, always practical Jay, Nick Carnes, thank you so much for coming on. Again, you are welcome anytime. We love doing this 3-person thing. I think it really helped the conversation. We even still heard from audio on this show. So for Peter Tellep, our producer as well. I'm Kevin Arnold, reminding all of you sports fans, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. We truly do love you all, 3,000. Jay?
Don't talk about it. Be about it.
And as our great late friend Mike Allen always used to say, live life. All gas, no brakes. We'll be back next week for another edition as Jay leads the ship right here on the Voice of the Land, brought to you by Vector Technical on the Big Play Network.